Yo guys, welcome back to the final whistle. As you can see, different studio, but don't be alarmed, we are still doing football talk. We're all about football here. So today we are talking about the entirety of the 2023-24 Premier League season. Who's been the best players, who's been the worst players, who's been the best teams, who's been the worst teams. This is up to us to decide, and you guys also to decide in the comments. So let's get into it. Let's just... Ooh, where do we even start? I mean, it's been a great season. Not particularly for Manchester United, you know. I don't even want to talk about that.
I think it's been the perfect season for Manchester United.
Do we start there or do we go bottom up? Or
do you know?
Should we talk about our clubs first? What do you think?
I think let's talk about our individual clubs first.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna pass the pillow to Mike's.
Alright, cool, I'll take this. Therapy session.
Yeah, therapy session.
Yeah, he needs it.
Listen,
United,
man.
How would you rate
United.
United's season out of 10? If you had to just say overall, everything included, so this can be transfers, performances, obviously league position. How would you?
5.
5?
Bang
Average. Obviously, I understand the predicament that we're in. We overachieved last season by winning the trophy off the bat, and that gassed me.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we did overachieve. We did.
No, because it's almost as if
overachieve.
someone said that, but it's fine.
No, we overachieved last season, and I came into this season thinking, bro, what more could we do with this squad?
Yeah.
But it seems like Ten Hag has literally run his players into the ground. We can't stay fit. And ultimately, our players just aren't good enough to compete. And I knew that from the start, to be fair. We just weren't good enough to compete with the rest of the league. Having said that, I do give credit to what we've done with the players that have been available, because majority of the season we haven't had a midfield. Our big signing, Money Mace, hasn't played much this season. I don't think he's made more than 10 caps in the Premier League.
Need to call him missing.
You know what I mean?
So
Oh God.
easy.
sorry. I forgot you had to
Yeah, it's like, listen, next season I can hope for more. I've said multiple times on United View, I've said on here that I'm Ten Hag out as it seems, but it's not like he can't win me back. He can definitely win me back. I just need to trust in him, and I need to show me that
Toxic
trust.
relationship.
It's a toxic relationship. I just want consistency back.
I can change him. That's what he said, basically. What he said. But to be fair, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I actually want Ten Hag to stay, not because like
Not the banter thing.
No, not even a banter thing. I actually want him to stay.
On a
genuine football thing, because I think, although I know I've been very harsh on Ten Hag, like over the past 18 months, I've been very harsh on him. But one thing that you need to realise is that, again, I don't want to say it's similar to the Arteta situation, but it is similar in terms of the job he needs to do.
Yep.
However, the magnitude of it is a lot larger.
Yep.
So I feel like if United really do want to make some progress, I feel like sticking with him is probably the best bet in terms of not disrupting the back room so much whilst, Ineos take over and whatever.
Yep.
I think next year is where you just decide, is he actually the right man? Have we been wasting our time? Ineos, what are we actually going to do with this United club?
Fair
I think
enough.
stick with him and allow him to just, back him in the transfer market.
Yeah.
See who he brings in and see how he changes the team, if he changes the team.
Yeah.
I think,
To be fair, not to spend too long with but I echo Mids' message. Like, I feel like he has that credit in the bank in terms of, he has won a trophy in his first season, potential to win one in the FA Cup. Unlikely, yes. Overall, I would rank it though a 4. Man United finishing, not in the top 4 is easily, not good enough for a club
For
of
the
that.
team that we have, though? No. For the club, yes. For the team
For the team you have, the money
you
spent,
can.
it's poor signings, it's poor decisions. Overall, that's why I put it as a 4. But, he still has... If they don't have someone definite or a style of football that they want to play, then they give Ten Hag that chance, and then we see where it goes.
That's what I'm saying.
There.
Give him next season.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't show something, he's had 2 transfers windows. Sorry, if he doesn't show something by that time, by Christmas time, if we're struggling to beat the teams that we should
make
be
the change ASAP.
Bro,
I hear
yeah,
that.
exactly.
Yeah, fair
and
enough.
I think the game against Arsenal epitomized everything about our club. Like, literally water falling through our ceiling. Like, what a rotten club. It's disgusting. You might are laughing, but this is the things where United fans, when we say Glazers out, you guys a lot of the time say, it's just because we're losing. No, we've been neglected for so long. We're a big club, and on an away day, Newcastle fans are coming with their flip-flops,
Scuba diving
gear. Bro, it's embarrassing for a big club like Man United, but
It severely is a toxic relationship,
Anyways,
but I hear it. That's United season.
Chelsea.
Okay, cool. Chelsea, I
Well,
don't
we
really.
have to copy for a double session, maybe. No.
I don't think I need the pillow on a therapy thing because I'm actually quite cool, to be honest. Like, I didn't really have a lot of expectations for Chelsea this season. I thought, if we got 7th and a trophy, because I thought that we're typically quite good in, the cup competitions, I would be happy with that season. To be honest, we should have won that Carabao. We should have won that Carabao. That's on us. That just shows the immaturity of the squad there, and I'm quite disappointed in that. And then FA Cup, we actually put up a good challenge against City, but City are City, and Bernardo Silva got that goal, and they'll probably go on and win the competition. So if you lose to the team that ends up winning it, it is what it is. But when we look back on the league form, I just think we've actually done quite well. Like, to be in and around those European spots for Chelsea, I feel like it's decent. First half of the season, very poor. But when you look at how many goals we scored last season in comparison to this season, I think last season we only scored it was around 30, 40 goals. This season we've almost doubled it to 78 or something goals. That's unbelievable. Obviously, Cole Palmer's played a massive part in that, but you're seeing more players chip in. Sterling, who's had such a bad season, he's going to get you those 8-9 goals no matter what. Now you've got Noni, who's doing quite well. Nicholas Jackson, who people were comparing to Højlund, people were laughing at, all these different new signings. He's got more goals than Højlund. He's got more goals than Gabriel Jesus. He's got more goals now than Richarlison.
And Havertz,
Yeah, exactly. Havertz, Nunez.
He's on 14?
Yeah, he's on 14. He is a decent Premier League striker for his first season in the Premier League.
I just don't like the way he plays, man.
I understand that.
He's
I understand
in
that.
Yoruba, he's like an Agbaya. He's just there.
What does that even mean?
He's like a bully. He's just very nah.
Yeah, I hear it.
Sorry.
That's a hilarious way to describe it. I hear it.
Yeah,
but,
it's just very rough and whatever.
Yeah, but in that being said, I feel like it's a decent season for Chelsea. But obviously, if I rate it, I'd say a 6. It is slightly
come back from where you were to being above United.
It is slightly above average. But
I wouldn't. I mean, it is 6 being above average, knowing in numbers wise, but I wouldn't.
No, but
describe
to
you
be
guys
fair,
be
from the
above
fall off
average.
they had last year, and where they were at Christmas as well, they have had a very good.
Correct me if I'm wrong. We
form.
finished 12th last year. 11th last year. That's so embarrassing.
You're fucked.
Sorry, man.
That's a damn.
For Chelsea, it's completely embarrassing. So to
You
now
wait there. We're coming. You wait there.
So to get back in those European spots, I'm quite happy. I'm quite happy about it. So we just move now. I think I'm Poch just to say, by the way.
Okay, cool. That was my next question.
He might not be the person who take us back to challenging, but for this little stopgap and how he works with up and coming players, I'm Poching. Yeah.
Okay. I hear that. Yeah, no, that's good.
You want to get to Arsenal?
I'm going to go to my local Crystal Palace first.
Okay, cool.
Crystal Palace, I think, have had a very, very good year. Obviously, off the back of, getting rid of Roy Hodgson. I think a lot of Palace fans, part-time, myself included, thought that Palace could play a lot better football than what we were playing under Roy Hodgson. And especially with the talent we had. Obviously, Eze and Olise, they have been getting injured this season. But the one thing that struck me as very peculiar under Roy Hodgson was when Olise was coming back from injury. I think it against Arsenal. I'm not really sure. Yeah, I think it was against Arsenal, and he came on.
Oh, and he stupidly played him
I don't understand
for no reason, and he set him
fit.
back even further.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was weird. That it felt like a weird aura around the club at that time. Like you didn't need to do that.
Even the fans were like,
"Why did you do this?" Yeah.
And I feel like that unfortunately, spelt the end for him. But since Robert Glasner has come in, jeez, Mateta. Jean-Philippe R9 Mateta.
Slapped it on United.
Listen,
man.
I'm not going to lie to you. I just pray. I pray that he can keep it up. I pray that front three can keep fit. And I really am looking forward to what Crystal Palace are going to do in the summer.
Yeah.
I really hope that, we kind of continue this form. And then next year, it wouldn't be too wild to say that can we potentially clinch Conference League? Because
It's not too wild.
it's not too wild to say, and especially
Yeah.
if Brentford lose Ivan Toney, other teams around Palace, Brighton, aren't looking at themselves.
They definitely
Obviously,
need to
they're going to
strengthen
recruit.
to do
that.
But if Palace do some smart business, Conference League potentially could be knocking.
It'd be good for
Before-
them. I would love to see them in the competition like that.
Yeah, before you get onto Arsenal and obviously nearer to the top of the table, maybe if we look more around those mid-table clubs, so you're looking at the Brentford, Brighton.
Yeah.
I wouldn't class Newcastle as mid-table, but in and
and
around.
around.
He's done well in that mid.
Yeah, in and
mid-table.
around that. I think, in my opinion, Brentford have done okay to stay up. They shouldn't have been dragged into that relegation-ish at one point of the season. But when they came back and got those vital points, I feel like they've done well in that respect.
The fact that they didn't drop so much without Tony this season has done really well for them.
Exactly.
Yeah, especially because they lost Wissa to
AFCON and Mbeumo. Yeah, and you got Onyeka. He went AFCON as well. They lost a lot of vital players. So yeah,
I think he said he's done the best, right?
The best in that mid.
I think I want to say Wolves, and the reason I say Wolves is because
you're gonna touch on the VAR as well.
Not even just that, because listen, I already told you the person who wrote that VAR thing is Nigerian, because when they said nonsensical judgments to aid to corruption, I said, yeah, that is a Yoruba man that wrote that. But no, I think just with the injuries that they've had to deal with in terms of, you know, their star Pedro Neto being injured and then he's fit and then he's injured and then again the sort of seesaw of form with Hang Hee-chan and then Mateus Cunha, who's been obviously their star as well. You know, I think he's got 12. He's got double digits. I can't remember the exact number of goals, but he's got quite a few goals for Wolves this season. I think they've done quite well.
Yeah.
And Wolves are that team that obviously when they came up surprised everyone with their, you know, Portuguese core. You know, you had Moutinho, Neves, obviously Neto as well, as well as some others as well. But I think this season they've done well. They did start to look, you know, at a period of time that they were going to slip down to like that 14th, 15th. But I feel like they've done well to recover. And yeah, I think they've just done well. I think Brighton, we kind of expected a bit more. So that's why I don't look at them as if they've done really well. But one team that I want to name and shame is Nottingham Forest. Because name and shame. I'm naming shame.
Are you not impressed with the players or you're not impressed with the club?
Both. Reason I say both is because I feel like for the amount of money that they've spent, I feel like they've just sort of thrown cash out there and not actually invested wisely. Because I know last year they came up and they.
Do you think Nuno's done a decent job to keep them up?
I think he's done okay. Obviously, there have been some things with VAR, but again, like the club itself is a bit weird. Like you hired Clattenburg to be your referee consultant, whatever.
Yeah.
And then when things hit the fan, he left.
Yeah.
And then you had your owner coming out, and I don't even know how true this is, but apparently the owner was waiting for the refs downstairs.
The owner's a character. He's a character. He's been a character,
but you know. See, he loves his club, man.
I get it, but like,
does he?
So
or
the letters,
professionalism as well. Professionalism as well, and I feel like
he can't be a thug, man.
He can't be a thug, man. Saying like, because I know we saw in Turkey. That's how they were starting it, because they said in Turkey, I think one of the owners had actually attacked one of the referees, and then they were saying, "Oh yeah, this is what this is sort of the same behaviour." Not in the Forest owner, which is obviously a drag, but it's like,
still, you're not impressed by that.
The performances on the pitch as well haven't been that great for what they have at their disposal. Obviously, you know, people like Elanga, Cho, Wood, who've been doing really well. But again...
Gibbs White.
Yeah, Gibbs White as well. How can I forget? I just feel like... And Danilo, I feel like they should be just pushing on
a little bit better.
A lot higher.
I feel like next season, obviously, Nuno's got obviously because they're safe. Nuno, I think he can actually build on that. You know, we saw what he's previously done in the Premier League. Didn't really get the best opportunity with Spurs, but it is what it is. My pick for that best of the middle is actually Bournemouth. You know, I feel... You agree, yeah?
I agree.
Okay, yeah. I feel like what they've done with Areola is so good. Dominic Solanke, he looks amazing. Like, you know, for them, because I thought potentially, you know, obviously they lost Gary O'Neill, right? And I thought, and then I thought, I don't know, that's a bit unfair what they've done there.
The job he did last year.
Exactly,
well.
I thought it was a bit unfair what they've done there. But, you know, they went and actually took a punt on the better manager and the more experienced, should I say, manager. And, you know, he's shown how good he is. For them to, you know, be mid-table and be quite comfortable in that and actually play very good football, I'm quite impressed by that. You know, Cliver, you know, Solanke.
He's had an upturning for
I feel like, you know, that's the team where in the middle they've done quite well. But I guess we get to the top of the table now.
Yeah, so Arsenal...
Right before we go there. Before we go there. Obviously, I know we're talking about this season, but then how do you feel like the teams that are coming up, for example, the teams like Leicester, will do with how we know the Premier League is right now in the competition? Because who's coming up?
Leicester and Ipswich are confirmed. And then obviously the playoffs final.
Yeah.
So it's looking like it's Leeds. They dumped Norwich 4-0.
Yeah.
So they're going to Wembley.
Southampton...
You know, it's. I think it's going to be Leeds, honestly. But I'm going to talk on the two that are definite.
Yeah.
Ipswich Town.
Ipswich, wow,
I love it. Wow, heritage.
Wow.
Absolute heritage.
Yeah, it's amazing. But the tough thing for Ipswich is if they can keep hold of McKenna. Exactly, that's the tough thing. He's even been linked to your club, obviously.
Don't bring him back. Great. But do not
Well,
bring
for his
him
own
back.
good.
Yeah.
I've got a mate who's
Nah.
actually a massive Ipswich fan, but and he said he fears that they might potentially lose him, but it depends the route that Ineos go down.
Yeah.
See, that plays a massive part, signings, etc. But for them to just be back in, I respect, to be honest. And I guess when we talk about the teams that are coming up, the teams that are gone down, I feel like Sheffield, Burnley. Obviously Burnley fans, I know you guys have said in the comments, we haven't been too favourable towards them, but I just haven't been too impressed. I feel like Company and Bellamy were too naive at the beginning of the season.
They played their
Sheffield,
football, man. You have to allow it. They played their football. They stuck on it.
Which I hear.
but then when they
Sometimes-
changed, they started to get results, and maybe they should have done that a bit earlier, in my opinion. Obviously, Sheffield, I'm not impressed with Sheffield United at all with their showings.
Chris Wilder.
Yeah,
I can't remember who was there before him. Earlier on in the season, they sacked someone.
Yeah, I can't even remember either, but I'm not really too impressed with that. And obviously, Luton shouldn't even have been there in the first place. So the effort that they
gave
put
a good
in
goal, man.
is unbelievable.
Listen, hats off to Luton, man.
Yeah,
no
Rob
pun
Edwards is
intended. But
unbelievable.
Luton have been great. They've been a great addition to the league.
Yeah.
In the sense that out of all three of the teams that have come up, they've actually been able to, kind of put a bit of pressure on some of the bigger teams, especially like when we played them 4-3.
You celebrate that you won the league, but yeah. Now go on, listen.
Let's get to the top of the league. Let's get there now. All right, cool. So let's talk about Arsenal then.
Arsenal. All right, so I'm going to go first with a rating.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give this season a 9 out of 10. Now, the reason I give the season a 9 out of 10 is because last year we overachieved 100%. The squad wasn't a squad that you'd look at and say title contenders.
Okay.
Top of the league for majority, 90% of the league.
Yeah,
or whatever.
you didn't expect that, and as much as expectations should and did change.
Yeah.
If you look at it from the beginning of the season, agreed.
Exactly.
Overachievement. I agree there.
So I think it is a good season, and again, most wins in an Arsenal team in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
The fact that we were able to top the goal scoring, top defensive records, and it's a thing off the back of such a disappointment, and I guess like a stab in the chest to your pride.
Yeah.
Last year, falling short, and because injury, we didn't even show up to these games against Southampton. You got relegated.
Yeah.
West Ham. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like it does a lot to a player's
Kinda
mentality.
did that again.
But then to come back and do that and compete and still actually mature and say, you know what, we can't go full throttle 38 for 38. We need to know how to manage games. And I feel like that's why at the start of the season there was so much like pressure and media coverage on Arsenal need a striker. Arsenal aren't playing well. Arsenal going to fall off. We're like, no, this is what teams do. They adapt. You've seen Pep Guardiola do it as well. At first, Pep Guardiola, frightening wingers, dangerous play. But then over the years, he's evolved and be like, okay, no, we need to be a bit more reserved. Even though we won the league, we need to be a bit more reserved, a bit more control. And I feel like that's what Arteta's doing. Obviously, student of Pep Guardiola.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's what he's doing with this Arsenal team. And unfortunately, if we have fallen short, because obviously this will come out after the final game. If we have fallen short, then it's fine. But it's against
When we fall short, but yeah.
It's a City team. It's a City team that is ridiculous and arguably one of the greatest teams we've seen in Premier League history.
Yeah.
In terms of that 7-year stretch.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's the easy way to even pivot onto City. Like, unbelievable. The fact that they're doing this, for 4 years in a row,
Pound
5
for
years in a
pound.
row, it's completely unbelievable.
When them 115 charges come in, it all mean nothing, man.
Yeah.
What I'm going to say is, it's looking peak for your boy Fergie.
No. It's
looking
intact. Because once that 115 come in, like no one's gonna. Like,
If
right now,
if the
I
115
don't
comes
care.
in, obviously he is gone. But it doesn't matter. I don't want to say the 115 doesn't matter because of course it matters. But at the end of the day, if we're just looking at pure face value football, Pep Guardiola, unbelievable.
Yeah.
The things that he changes, the way that he plays, the adaptability, doing the treble and then going on and being like almost doing it again, being in the running for it, it's completely unbelievable.
And do you know what another thing is? I think people underestimate the sort of expectation we have on Pep Guardiola.
And how hard it is to do that.
Exactly. We all know he's obsessed with football. We all know he's a genius. But the thing is, the hardest thing isn't winning, it's to continue winning.
Yeah.
Because anyone can win, but then to consistently be the person who wins and consistently gets it over the line, that's even harder. So
Yeah, but you're saying it's getting like sticky with Fergie. It's really not. When you put it into context, we say 115 charges, and that's a big play in terms of why City are so good. It's a really
100%.
big play. But let's put that to the side for a bit.
Okay.
You're saying that you need to win and keep winning. Alex did that. You say that how he's won a treble and he's almost won it again. Fergie almost won the treble twice, but the only thing is that Pep's Barcelona, Bears, but
Yo,
one of the best
yourself.
players of all time, Messi, Iniesta, Xavi, that team was impeccable. Barely anyone could beat them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Can I say
So
one
it's
thing?
like he would have won. He could have, would have, should have. But like he could have won like 3 trebles if not for that Pep team. I know it's Pep, still
And
Pep
also-
Bears, but still.
This Pep team,
Yeah.
the greatest team we've seen in Premier League history, arguably,
Yeah.
is denying Arsenal winning the title 2 years in a row, and
Yeah, but
and the great Liverpool team
We
as well.
still ended up. Fergie still ended up winning a Champions League. You know what I mean? So when Arteta wins a Premier League, we can give him his plaudits. But maybe he has, maybe
Yeah.
he hasn't.
Who knows,
But
but-
we'll leave
Okay,
it
then
there.
if we look, what are we going to talk about? Just the 2 kind of below the Liverpool and Tottenham.
Yes, I was going to say, onto that Champions League, like, how do you think... In fact, no.
And Villa as well, yeah.
Villa as well. Villa back in the Champions League.
I think
this
Villa's-
is the first time in ages.
I think Villa's a 10. For the fans,
Yeah.
It's a 10, it has to
No.
be.
Overall, it's a 10 because I don't think they thought they were going to be in Champions League
Because it was
contenders.
7th last year. It went from 14th to 7th to 4th.
Progression,
That's
man.
unbelievable, man.
Great progression.
Completely unbelievable.
Yeah, it's undeniable what Emery's doing there. I think he's like, obviously I know official awards they're probably going to give manager of the season to whoever wins the league, but I think Emery
yeah.
manager
Yeah.
of the
Do you
season.
think Newcastle have been an upset this season, despite being being in Champions League places last season and then finishing, what is it, 9th, 8th?
We don't know, but we don't know. It could
Newcastle.
go either way on the last day of the season. But then, if we, irrespective of that, because you expect them to be challenging for the Champions League, I think it is a bang on average 5. And the reason why I say that is due to injury. They were absolutely. I know everyone was, but they were completely riddled with injuries, so bad. So that's why I give them the bang on average.
Can I say one thing?
Go on.
They're going to hate me, but Newcastle will deserve this because the way they were giving it the big one last year in terms of saying, oh, we're back in the Champions League. Like, Newcastle fans, obviously, I know a lot of people were trolling Arsenal last year, rightly so. We bottled the league, that's fine. But when I'm hearing teams like Newcastle stop to pipe up, and then when City beat Tottenham, Newcastle was, oh, you lost the league at
But
Newcastle.
Newcastle's a big club, bro.
No, it's
Fuck
a big
Newcastle,
club.
man. Putting that out, be like, they were saying, what's that team called United? Fuck you, man. Who the hell do you think you are? Nah, man.
No, all I'm saying is that Newcastle, I think they needed this to bring them back to reality and actually understand, look, yes, last season was a great season for you. You are a good team. We know you're a historic club and whatnot, but it's like, look, you've done it one season, you haven't done it the next. Now it's about consistency. It's the same way I said about winning is important, but the most important thing is to continue winning.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've been
yeah.
successful last year, you were in the Champions League, but can you do it consecutively?
Yeah.
Can you actually keep it up?
Yeah.
Let's be real with
So
ourselves
it's
now.
fair questions. It's fair questions.
That's what I'm going to say.
And then finally, if we go on Klopp and Ange, those two, we'll end on those two. Talk about Ange first.
And Tottenham,
Mate.
listen, I think it's a good... it's Tottenham. You know what I mean?
It's a bit Spursy,
It's a
ain't
bit
it?
Spursy, but from what I've seen of Ange and his mentality, especially having that whole Arsenal City dynamic about if
He wasn't
wins,
impressed
He
about
wasn't
that.
impressed about it. You can see the mentality he has, but like, regardless of if Arsenal win the league, he wants to win himself. So that meant nothing to him. I can see he genuinely meant it. It meant nothing.
Yeah.
He wanted
Yeah.
to win that game.
Yeah.
So
So if you both give a rating, mids. I know it's tough for you to rate Spurs, but
No. I can be objective at
think
times.
it's a 6.
I think I'm going to give it 6.5 because I want to say 6 or 7.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm not going to give it a 7 is because obviously they haven't got into Champions League football.
yeah.
And I feel like he himself has turned. In fact, no, I'm giving it a 6 because I don't like the way Ange has sort of reversed from what he was saying in the first 2 months.
Of how he's not going to change the way of football.
He's not going to change the way his football.
And then he
clearly
played a
did.
bit deeper over against different clubs.
Exactly.
I hear
he
that.
said he's not going to throw players under the bus, which I can't lie to you, I'm not really a fan of anyways, but sometimes, they do need to be held accountable, but then he went and did
Basically
that in
said-
conferences.
Players are going to have to leave.
Exactly.
Yep.
And then the third one, when VAR was going in his favour, he said, managers shouldn't get involved. They're making a decision, they know what's best. And then when it's not going right for him, he's like, we used to play football. You can't continue being wishy-washy.
Okay.
I don't like wishy-washy
Arteta does
characters.
that. Arteta does do that.
No, but
lot.
Arteta, no, but Arteta, when it's going in his favour, he's like, look, it is what it is. And any manager would say that. If a VAR decision got you the win, you're not going to be like, oh yeah, VAR is bad. And da, da, da.
Yeah.
You're going to just be like, look,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yes.
So
Fair.
6. How about you?
6.
6.
And Klopp,
This farewell tour, I've loved it. This farewell tour. Hey, listen.
Thanks. Nah, that's harsh
No,
though.
no. This farewell tour has gone triple wood.
is
Yeah.
nasty, man.
It's poor. I mean, if you look at Liverpool's season overall, if we talk about teams overachieving and how you said Arsenal overachieved last year, I think Liverpool are in somewhat a similar boat.
I think they overachieved in the sense that No, actually, I don't want to say overachieved because I feel like where they are.
Them finishing third, fourth is kind of what we expected. But then where they were first initially, that was the overachievement. So then, when you look at overall,
you do have to be like on understanding, because when they were first, we was like, we didn't see Liverpool winning the league or potentially being able to win the league.
Exactly.
However, trying to go for your quadruple and it not happening again, and then Trent's doing the whole I'm hungry for more and only ending up winning the Carabao Cup on your farewell tour.
Especially when, it means more to us.
So,
you guys are trying to beef the guys out north, the Geordies and the Scousers. Listen, I'm not involved.
No, but when it's
Liverpool,
when you play for Liverpool, you got it's about the cups. It's about the trophies. So
not if, buts, and maybes, absolutes.
But you guys are... I know this is a Premier League roundup, but they did win the League Cup. Chelsea gave that to them, but they did win the League Cup.
I just think Liverpool, especially with the players they brought in, I feel like Gakpo kind of disappointed, Supporter disappointed.
Yeah.
Endo did all right.
McAllister did well. Joe Gomez coming back from injury slightly did well. Konate let me down quite a little bit. Van Dijk, I feel like he's actually quite back up there to
he's regaining his best form. Same with Alisson as well. Trent too, to be fair, cut the dreads and kind of works for him.
I hear it. But what's the rating that you'd give just to round up on Liverpool?
I would give them a 6 as well. 6.
Okay.
I'm gonna go 5. I think they're better than what they've shown this season. What last thing we're gonna do, and then we're gonna end it off. I want everyone's player of the season.
Okay.
Quickly, player of the season.
Declan Rice.
Cole Palmer.
No, Phil Foden.
Okay.
Phil Foden for me.
Oh, yeah. I just had to rep Chelsea. It probably is Foden. I can't lie. But fair enough.
Fair enough. I hear it. But you guys, let us know. Let us know in the comments below. What do you think of our Premier League roundup? Who is looking like a fool right now? Is it me or is it Max? Because listen, someone's won the league, innit? We don't know.
Listen,
someone's won the league.
If this comes out and Arsenal won the league, you will not see me.
Well, what's the bet? Just remind me of the bet.
The bet is that he has to wear an Arsenal jersey. And I think I don't know what I have to do.
I think you might have to buy me something.
We're gonna put in the clip. But let us know. Make sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms. That's TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. As always, leave a like and join in the conversation. Click the notification bell. And as always, we'll see you in the next one. Peace.